Salutations, it's your old Power Revenge creature, and it's finally here, the moment that at least 3 people have been waiting for, the big box unboxing. First of all, I'd like to once again give a shout out to Jennifer Flainer, Stormtrooper cosplayer extraordinaire, great person. Helped me basically to acquire this box of goodies. So, without further ado, we're going to look in here OSQUINOXO style. Am I right? So first of all, we're going to rip the tape, cut the tape to B. Hold on a second. Give me a second. Like, there we go. Alright. Now, let's see what's in the box. What's in the box, man? What's in the box? Where's Brad Pitt when you need him? Am I right? I mean, okay, so, first of all, oh, this is cool. You don't see this every day. This is some extremely cool paper. I'm not sure what year this was made, but, I mean, look at the detailing here. Okay, first up, we have a Destro from Rise of Cobra. Now, say what you will about that movie. No, don't, because I might hear you. I actually like it a little bit. Like, that and Retaliation together would have been the perfect movie. But that's neither here nor there, right? Anyway, here's this Destro. And, you know, as their own universe, they work. It's just like the Michael Bay Transformers. I hate that aesthetic, but it works for its own universe. And that's kind of the way I feel about Rise of Cobra. Here we go, another Destro. So, one to keep and one to open. Wait, one to keep and one to open. Does that mean I'm going to throw away the one I open? Looks like we have another Rise of Cobra figure. This is what I like to refer to the Turtle Viper, the Neo Viper. This was the generic Cobra Trooper in that movie. And, again, such a weird aesthetic. I mean, that's a weird design. And then we have Rise of Cobra Storm Shadow and Unmasked. And at the time, I think this is like a variation, maybe, of the figure. No, maybe it's not. Anyway, that's a cool. That's definitely a cool Storm Shadow. Anyway, so yeah. Then next up, we've got. Looks like Retaliation, maybe. Figures. Oh no, here's another. We've got. Cobra Commander, quote unquote, quote Commander. This is this is the weird. He's got this weird thing. His helmet's. It's weird. All right. Looks like there's a couple of Retaliation figures in here, and of course that was the sequel. And you know that was such a botched operation, you know. The first wave of figures come out, then they decide the movie's going to be pushed back, and then all the toys get recalled, and then when they do come back out with the movie, it's the wave 1 comes back on and sits on the shelves, and we hardly get the last couple of waves, which were the best ones. So what they should have done is just left the daggone toys and just let that stuff sell out. And then we could have got. I would have rather the market have been flooded with like those last 2 waves. You know what I'm saying? All right. So in Retaliation, we have the Cobra Trooper, which again a weird design, also not featured in the movie, but it's interesting. You know, it's not a bad figure. It's interesting. Next up, what else we got here? Retaliation. Oh, another Retaliation Trooper. They're cool because they had that working parachute. That's cool. And then it looks like another Retaliation figure here. This is the last one of the Retaliation figures. G.I. Joe Trooper, which this was really cool. This and the Pit Trooper from Rise of Cobra, those were really cool Joe troop builders, you know. And this guy's cool because he's kind of like Black Ops 2, a little bit of Halo there maybe. But it's cool, the alternate head's got a mohawk. That's pretty cool. Alright, so let's see here. Let's move on into the next thing that randomly pops up. A Hall of Heroes figure, Zartan. from the 25th line, and this was basically just a souped up version of. Oh wow! I've never noticed. I've never even seen. He's got this cool, and I know the camera's not going to pick it up, but on his chest plating and his shoulder pads, he's got this cool. Looks like wear, you know, where it's got wear on his shoulders. That's wear. It looks cool. It's like wear, you know, rust, not rust, but whatever. All right, now let's go into. Looks like there's some bagged figures, some loose 25th figures. So I'll grab them. First up is Crocmaster, which is a great. I love this character. Well, I really don't know much about his character, but I love the toy. It's a great figure, and this crocodile is articulated. His mouth opens. Garbrar, he's going to eat you. Next up, we have a Hiss Driver, which I've got one of these, but, you know, it's as I'm rebuilding this whole collection, I'm going to need more than one, and I think this is the first version. I know they did a lot of variations of this guy. This is one of those molds that Hasbro abused during the 25th run. Okay, next up, let me grab another bagged figure. Oh, wait, are they all buried on the side there? Okay, so then I'm going to have to skip the bagged and start going to more carded figures. The next carded figures will all be from the 25th series. So, some of these I'm going to open, and some of these I'm going to keep on the card. The ones I'm going to open, the ones on the card that I'm going to leave on the card are ones I've already got, or variants thereof. Let's get cracking. First of all, this was the Cobra Air Trooper. This was one of the first like new kind of characters they came out with during the 25th series. I'm not sure. Let's see, what wave was this? 1, 2. I think maybe this is the third wave or fourth wave. Excuse me. I think it was originally released in that Cobra Legion set, and then they decided to put it out separately. And gosh, I had a ton of these guys, but it's cool that it's coming back, folks. I mean, if you look at my intro, you see all this the G.I. Joe stuff. I mean, I had all the 25th carded, and then I sold them. So this is kind of really cool. All right, well, Bazooka, he stayed on the card because I already have a Bazooka, and this card back's cool because it's still. There's like 2 gray spots where they're still teasing what characters were coming. And you know, I used to be able to tell you who they were. It looks like one might be Torch, maybe, and an Eel. Maybe the Eel and Torch. I'm not sure. But this is cool. This is one of those, instead of having a 25th anniversary, it had this G.I. Joe cartoon logo, and they dropped like the chrome. I guess that was a cool move though, because it was. We walked into a store when these were coming out, and you know you saw that chrome logo. I mean, that was cool. I can't even tell you. I mean, just seeing the Joe logo again. But then when they started this, and they had like that, the original logo. Man, you want to talk about nerdgasms? Then going into a store, and you're like, meh. So okay, next up we've got the Crimson Guard, Cobra's Elite Trooper, originally released in 1985. This is a pretty cool remake. I've got the Retaliation. They did a his picture's not on here, but they did a updated version of this figure in this Retaliation series, which I've got, and maybe I'll do a comparison later on. Anyway. This guy's going to get opened because I don't have any of this Crimson Guard mold open. Next up, we have Wild Bill, and this was the helicopter pilot. And this figure is notorious for having a tiny head. If you take this, well, you can already almost tell in the package, but if you take his hat off, it's got this tiny pea head. But there was another version of the figure that came out a little bit later. And you can swap heads, and that's what I'm going to have to do with this one. I'm going to have to find that second version of him and swap that head. But Wild Bill, because I had the Dragonfly as a kid, and I got it for Christmas one year, and Wild Bill was always a cool figure. It kind of reminded me maybe of my dad, or people that of an older generation that had served. Now it kind of looks like Dale Dribble from King of the Hill. Excuse me, Rusty Shackelford. Alright, next up we have, this is Scarlet. Scarlet in her pilot uniform, which this is actually kind of an homage to Glinda, I believe. She was an Argentinian release figure, and the G.I. Joe International Collection. So you had the from the cartoon, and then you had the International Collection. They might have even done like from the Marvel comics. We'll see when I get to the next figure. Probably going to leave this one carded because Glinda had blonde hair and they left Scarlet's hair red. If they had done blonde hair on this head, I definitely would be opening this one for display. But as it is, she's going to stay on the card and she's going on the display wall. Okay, next is Lady J. And I've got a different version of Lady J, so she's staying carded. This is cool because this is, I guess, Wave 3. And they did, they left these blank, like the old Star Wars characters, like when Return of the Jedi. Hopefully Snickers doesn't embarrass herself by falling into this box, but we'll see what happens. Oh, God. Anyway, so Cat just went in there. But they blacked out the Ewoks, which is pretty cool. So you're and the Gamorrean Guard, I think. Oh, yeah, I can hear the. Oh, there she goes. Anyway, let's see if I can guess who this is. We have Firefly, the Red Ninja, I think, Stalker, Shipwreck, and is that another Cobra Commander, maybe, or is it Zartan? I think that might have been Zartan. Yeah, this is just the third wave, and there's the first wave and second wave. So I guess Lady J was part of that second wave. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, she's staying on the card. Then we have Destro, which is of course one of my favorite figures, probably my favorite Cobra character. And I've already got the one, so he's gonna stay in the package. It's cool, pretty cool. Nobody's blacked out on the back of his box. They did such a good job recreating this. I mean, the nostalgia. I mean, for all the missteps that Hasbro's made, just this packaging was just so spot on, amazing. And it's really unfortunate that they went with the Force Awakens, the way the packaging is. They didn't try to capture some of that Star Wars nostalgia by coming at, with the double bumper chrome, or they could have done something like that. But instead, they continued the tradition of having these weird bubbles that don't stack, like these slanted things, or really, I mean, well, but not as bad as some of the other. They just had some weird shaped bubbles. Okay, next up is Roadblock, and I was going to try to come up with a rhyme, but I'm just still thinking about how much fun I'm having right now taking these out of the package or box. Not all of them are coming out of the package. I do think I have a Roadblock opened. Yeah, I think so. So this guy will probably stay in the package. But that's such a good. These are just great, and I mean that definitely captures the card art, the bulk. This was a bigger figure, and back then most of the Joes were of the same scale. Some like Road Pig had a bigger torso. There were a couple they made bigger, but for the most part they were all kind of the same scale. And this is cool because this guy definitely is more imposing than your average figure. Let's see. Next up, the Cobra Viper, kind of the elite stormtroopers of the Cobra Army. Probably going to leave this guy on the card because they came out with a much better version of him in this. Actually, it was in the this version. It came in the Hall of Heroes, and I know there was this weird thing where that Ridiculous is the dress black or gold or blue or gold or whatever that thing was. There were a lot of these Cobra Vipers. The second version that came out in this Hall of Heroes, they had a chrome face mask, and a lot of people said they were finding gold chrome, and some people were like, well, no, it's silver. and you look at them, and it really, I'd go to, I think they were showing up at TJ Maxx, and you look at it, and it's like, is that gold? Is that one gold? And it was a wild ride, man. This one I'll probably keep in the package because, like I said, I've got there was the Hall of Heroes version, and then the 30th anniversary edition. That one's even superior to the 30th, but that one's a little harder to come across these days. People really latched on to that. That's one of those expensive troop builders.